segment properties when we create it on segment, curve, root flares, we have it on blendings and blades. So let's look on next tab. It's influence. Influence, it is interesting options that allow us to modify randomness or create in some cases naturally more look on the segment at this time. This influence will also apply to some other components as well. First, it's aberration, so it's how much distortion have it. This is random generation. Think about generator. Frequency, it's how often value is changed. String, it's how much of this applied. And make planner, it's in specific X, make flutter. So best to do this, let's observe the effect. So we'll increase string to 5. Notice how it's changed now. If it's effect too much, we need in decreased frequency. So I can take and cut in half of the frequency, and you notice now it's kind of extended in some cases, reduce this small frequency, so make it more effect. But I do like this used on some plants, trees, maybe with not this high string. Let's decreasing, because you can see it's provide kind of natural little bit distortion to look to that. This work very well with the branches to provide them natural little bit of look. Okay, we also have it make planner. So let me increase so we can preview, and from the top you can see we have it in all directions. So right now I'm going to move to 1, and notice we don't have it effect on this side, but we have it only on 1. So we're going in opposite. Now we don't have it in this direction, but we have it in X and Y. So this is planner. It's what how much will affect. You want to probably in some cases use it planner if you have it maybe ivy on a wall, because maybe you want going straight, or you don't want objects going down below. Let me show as example with this. So we'll go to create Hydra for now. Okay, let me connect here. We'll take this one and we reconnect. So you'll notice on the bottom we create a simple roots. Right now, because we applied, we have a height going this way. So if I'm going in the segment and it says I want planner only in an X, so we'll have it still be very flat on this case, but we apply different on the roots. Just overall, this is kind of nice effect you can apply depend on what in planner view you're using. Okay, let's go ahead, delete this one. Okay, let's set back to 0. Okay, as well, we have it the randomness and we have it apply filters. The filters apply on the height, for example. Okay, let me go take right here and take all the way down. Okay, this is the make planner, so you can see on the bottom, and let's do this same on the height. Okay, in this case you can see we applied on the bottom, and closer to the top we removed with our filter. Okay, let's reset it. As well, same things can go from the parent. The frequency, because it's covered before, and keep it tip, it's actually happening we increase on top. It will help with the branches actually stay in the original position. So it's if you don't want going too off of this, so you can rearrange and readjust and force them a little bit more position. Again, this will be more visible when we create a different segment. So let me do actually copy this one, paste and reconnect here. Okay, in this case we could go keep it top, and right here you can see it's kind of try keeping them in same position. Okay, then next let's look on the forces. The forces allowed us to work with flexibility, gravity and wing specific prepare this segment. Currently you see it's disabled. To enable, we need to go back to the root, and we need to change right here in the wind session from simple to combined wind. In this case, you'll notice we have our force enabled. And this way you can actually modify how the trunk and other segments are affecting. For example, if I want trunk not affect the flexibility, so let's go. You'll notice right here I can reduce the flexibility of this and affect to the wing, so it will less affecting to this as well. Okay, we can go inside the segments. An example, I want quite a bit effect by wind, and we have a high flexibility. So let's go ahead and preview. Let me go to simple wind, and you can see how much affecting a little bit more on our blades, and our trunk almost doesn't work at all. Okay, so it's disable, go to combine wind. Can you notice right here, this is a forces, how much we can affect. I do recommend to adjust them a little bit when you work with a plant, so your plant does not all move, so the trunk will affect less than, for example, leaves and small branches. So just modify them. We also have options for the blade dynamics. Currently you notice it is disabled because we have no blades. We can enable them, so we can preview. In this case, right here where we have it, now we have it apply breeze, and we have it all this dynamics applied to our blades as well. And this will affect nicely when you work with a grass or leaves, so you can say what frequency, what amplitude, if you want them be too stiff or less, so you can apply to this. Okay, here's our forces, blade dynamics. So let's look next on global base. This one is, if you remember, we applied from the root, so currently we don't have any. We need to go inside and add more base inside here, if kind of effectors, so we can say how much we want those effectors apply for our currently let me disable blades, okay, for our plant at this time. Okay, next we also have a local basis, which is same effectors we can apply just directly only on the branches or that segment they're currently selecting. And this is very interesting, it's growing on an object. We'll look on this a little bit more in other tutorials, but it is allowed us to take our plant and interact with the object. If we have a cube and we have a plant and which is growing, we can say how this will wrap around this object or integrating. So this is very interesting properties, and it's require its own kind of tutorial for this. Okay, next we'll look on the materials, and you notice on materials we have a different properties for this. Currently we have it on our body, we have it blades if it's enabled, cap, and also all additional properties. Overall, this is very similar to material editor that we have it inside the view, with only difference that we have additional UV mapping and other properties that we can apply it. Also, one thing is notice right here we have it inherent from parent, so if we're going original and we set most, it will apply to all, because by default right here it says inherit material from parent. We can modify this and select it. You will have it all pre-cached materials they use it, so you can easy select just from the also drop down menus which one you want. You can create new or delete this material as well. We can preload it, or if you want to editor, you can right click edit material, or double time click will also bring material editor. Again, the same thing, so you have the basic or advanced material editor with all very familiar properties. Exception, we don't have it some of the ecosystem, of course, or volumetric or other materials. but you also can create all different similar ways: mapping mode, scales, create additional layers, save materials, and also you can go through all properties of the material, like inside the view, and work with this property. And we'll look on materials, creating materials for the plants, and a specific set of tutorials for this. Okay, so we can create here, right here also for the blades materials if you're using. Currently it's gray out because we disable blades, but it's here as well as a top of the plant, so you can modify it if you need it. You can create a different, like cut branch in this case. So let's say we here on this case, if you create a stem, for example, you can create it with a mapped material, you know, just a cut wood or side wood and a bark on the end. So we'll look how to create stem in a material editor, in a plant editor as well on this. But overall, this is with materials. Okay, next options, we have a transform, and this transform is applied to the overall scale object, and offset, rotation. This is general options, and if you want modify or control some effect, external parameters, this is one of the better ways to do it. For example, here's a global size. We can modify this by reducing in help overall, and you notice how it's effect as well. We also can click and create dependency on a random on segments, same things what we did before. As well, we have it X, Y, and Z, and of course they inherit from the parent. So in the case if we have a segment right here, disable, you notice the obviously size does not inherit from the parent. Okay, offset, you'll notice right here we offset from the center from axis. We can even offset a little bit more. X, Y, and Z as well, all parameters. Rotation angles, we can go and rotate them against the angle. Okay, this is more to the generic to the object, all this scale, proportion. Increase, decrease mesh resolution. Boost, again, if you increasing, it will render time increase, but if you're creating a tree which you think will be very close up, you want higher details, you probably want increasing. Or if it's far away, you maybe want to decrease if it's just like filler plant somewhere in the background. Okay, you have it skinning, apply, create a skin to this. Also boosting on a bounce, so when it start flexibility, will apply a little bit smoother and nicer effect, not just to one point. Incurred sap, and orientation of trapezium from vertical to horizontal, another effect. Okay, this is a transformation. We also have other options, additional tabs that appear if you have a children. So let's go to this segment, and you notice right here we have a new tab segment. One thing to kind of know, if we create two segments, the both these two segments will control from same segment tab. So whatever I modify, it's applied to them. However, you see they look a little bit different because we apply different type randomness with the influence right here. In this case, if you want populate, you can use this way. However, if you want to create two different type of the controls, like tabs right here, we need create, link this in, and it's notice it says segment 1 or new child. So let's select new child. On that case, if we go inside the segment, you will notice we have two segments. If you have 20 segments, it will just have a drop down menu when you click and select which segment you want to go into. Okay, so let's right here, we'll preview, and same thing on this segment child, we have a number, how many we want of them. So let me go delete this one for now. Okay, rework right here, we'll go to the segment. So we have it 4. Example, I want increase, I can put it 8 or more randomly. This is will select them, create different one. Okay, as well, let me go and transform. here. Okay, as well, we'll go inside the segment. Okay, so a little bit easier to see this way. Okay, now we're going inside our segment. We have a number of the segments. I do recommend to use it random, so number, if you create the trees on this, you will have a different type of branches. We can apply paralink on the segment. Soft insert, this is depend how we'll use it. Normally use the run number. All fractal part, it is how barriers will blend with this. We also have it start and end. Currently it's where starting. If I want to bring them higher up, you'll notice we'll move it, as well as the ending top. If you want to kind of create like palm almost, you can bring this maybe to 0.99. Okay, bring all the way up, so you can see we have it here. And just using coil, which is work with orientation, let's put it 45. You can just rotate them around. Okay, as well, if you want to have it more fun, we can go and add a trapezium to this. There you go. So we have it kind of almost look like a palm. In some case we can create very fast. Okay, next, start end, we have a density, and this is just a filter density. We can reduce or create more density in specific areas, and this is will affect if we have it kind of more on a height. Right now we're all on same point, so let me do this way. We'll go bring down, okay, and we'll create maybe 0.2. so the density, you'll see it will change because I apply filter less density on the top, so more density will be on the bottom. Okay, and if we reset, it should be properly distributed. So with the filter you can also apply like you want some plants, but less on the bottom and more on the top. So in this case we'll just go and set this way filter. In this case we'll have it less on the bottom, more on the top. Okay, pruning, it will randomly remove some of the plants. So let's do it this way. We'll increase pruning, and you notice some of them is disappear. We can also apply randomness to the pruning, which allowed to create even more random growing on the branches. Okay, overall randomness, it's take and create random use of the populations, limit scale, and positioning as well. Okay, placement, it's allowed us to properly arrange in placement. Let's come closer a little bit so we can look, and you notice right here we have it orthological, we have it also literal, and it's depend on what type we want to use it. We'll it's a literal, sometimes used more for maybe kind of plants, bushes, and again this is a little bit more advanced options, and we'll look on them closer when we'll work in our advanced type of tutorials. The one thing what kind of know it is starts from X of segment. Right now all of them start positioning from middle from the segment. Sometimes if you create maybe some peeling bark, you don't want to put, you want to put this on outside. In this case you want to go ahead and surface of segment. Notice right here how we place it, so they're kind of sticking out. It doesn't work very well for the branch, but if we're creating a small piece of barks, kind of peeling for the banana tree maybe, this we want to use it from surface. So it's again, it's depend. And you notice right here we have it tip of the segment, all influence children, so different ways. As usual, you probably want to use it as an X of the segment in most cases. And also we have it move out, it's how far you want to move out object from the axis, so it just offset in other case. Okay. Or put it inside, so let's put 0 back to main X. Next we also have how it will influence on the segment of the positioning. So example, we can say let's shrink on the radius, we'll put it 1 actually, okay, So you notice right here we shrink quite a bit when it's go up, and again right here when we don't have them, it's almost no influence, but when we have it more, it's higher influence with them as well. Let's say bending, so it will should bend, don't bend where we don't have the segments, but it will bend where we have it. Again, it's an influence, we'll add 1. Okay, so we'll start bending right here. And smoothness, it's overall angle right here, will increase, should give it a little bit nicer, smoother effect. And this is all to be able to create this natural kind of looking effect. Okay, next we have it also orientation. Orientation is based on an angle. Right now 30 degrees is how going. We can increase this by, for example, 50, and it should go a little bit higher. However, you can also this angle effect with additional filter. So we can say angle will change depend on how high it will go. Rotation, it will rotate against the object. Okay, let's say 0. Coil, it's what we're using before to spread kind of them around here. And currently 45, we can actually put it 35 or less. In some cases, you want to set random and maybe add additional randomness to this. Okay, next we have it horizontals, so we have it the angle, horizontals, rotation based on this, and roll. The other option is kind of very interesting as well, so we can do this. When we enable, currently it's repetition 1. Let's say I want to increase them repeating, so I'll put it 3. You notice right here, okay, oops, right here, let me put it 3 in here. You see how many we kind of start rolling, repeating on this. Okay, we have it spread 360s, and let's put randomness on that one. It's kind of create very nice, okay, a little bit more randomness effect and spreading. Okay, let me put 100 just to spread them a little bit more interesting in the way. Okay, next we have it inherit properties. It's a density, scaling, and sub, so we can reduce the little bit scaling of inherit, so it's create a little bit smaller, you can see effect, or we can leave it scaling same as effect. Okay, let's do 0.7 for this example. Okay. Yeah, so it's already look quite a bit interesting plant. The last things what we can do, we can go inside the segment. Okay, right here we can say let's set this 10%. I'll just reduce size. Click OK, and we'll enable blades. And right here we almost have it our palm kind of done. Okay, we'll just go from this end. And here till we look on properties, you can see we already built another plant that we can apply textures or other properties and have a very interesting plant. Again, this is look just on a simple segment properties. Thank you for watching this tutorial from Geekatplay Studio, and please remember to check other tutorials from this series discovering Plant Factory.